For those still awake, this is Dream FM. This is not a review. If you're seeking the song, it lives with the artist. Time is 12:01 a.m. Atmosphere, unsettling. A signal has been received. Source, Rosewire. Listening conditions follow. 01 to 010, repeating. Preparatory tone. Pockets checked. No outward panic. Anxiety forthcoming. Surface calm at present. Worry latent. Choice mandatory. 011 decision made. 012 movement. Forward motion established. Elegance irrefutable. Gray light conditions. Visibility only slightly reduced. Progression through wooded terrain safest at current. A secret accounted for. Unknown what it contains presently. Peripheral fear increasing. 023 to 026. Fear manifests. Transient. Facade flickers momentarily. 025 to 036. Low end awareness develops. Movement continues forward, with rate increasing. Panic arises briefly. Heavier breaths to be expected. The low end is active with no pullback. Baseline status identified as looming. 037 to 048. Baseline status changed to active pursuit. Anxiety now validated. Fear now validated. Away forward motion now validated. 037 to 048. Second pass. Unsettling. I'm uncomfortable. Sound is pleasant. Feelings are unpleasant. Conditions apply to minute 1 only. Wonderful. That was the listening conditions forecast. Now that we know what to expect, an observational report. This track is conflicting. On the surface, it's light, lilting, but you strip it down to the low end, and it's uncomfortable. Genius, actually. But the physical feeling that the baseline manifests feels like a very specific targeted crime. I feel watched, and that alone is making my skin crawl. This split between glitter and unease, a deliberate choice, no doubt, and after listening to it repeatedly, I've come to the conclusion that Rosewire is trickster magic. Stockholm Syndrome for prog nerds and expensive guitars. Gaslighting, disguised as groove. A trap. Also, hot. But that one's on me. Disregard. That's the effect. Now, what is causing it? Let me begin with I know almost nothing about the technical part of this world, yet I am obsessed with learning about it. The components gathered to create something that leaves a body in chills, fear, wonder, awe, unease, amazement. How the fuck does someone do that? Well, leave it to me to treat this like a forensic report and find out, knowing damn well this is normal for people living in this world. To me, however, It is insane magic to dissect. This is for me and my goblin brain and other goblin brains alike. From what I've gathered, Nick DiPiero handles guitar for night verses. He's partial to his JP15 and uses a Digitech whammy religiously. He's also an Abasi user, which, if you've ever looked up the price of one, you'll understand why I literally cannot breathe. These are by no means casual instruments. They are sports cars with strings. Normally, I'd side-eye insanely expensive gear, but with Toast and Abasi involved, quality is assumed. DiPiero also keeps a Strandberg Bowden in rotation, another H string, like the Loretta, though I can't confirm whether it's used for rose wire specifically, but it is in the arsenal. After some late night digging, my working theory is that the sorcery here is a combination of the Loretta 8 and the Digitech whammy. Now, pedals usually live in chains. As far as I know, pitch shifting effects usually sit near the front of the chain. But from what I can tell, he switches his setup around often, sometimes placing the whammy mid-chain. He seems to favor a tuner first, then overdrive, then the whammy somewhere downstream. Which is interesting, because pedal placement alone can radically change how that pitch shift hits your body. Once that altered signal reaches the low end, that's when it stops feeling like a trick. It presses. Feels less like a riff and more like something lurking. It's no longer clever. It's watching. And I don't love that. Which makes me curious. The low end doesn't feel decorative here. And when something feels that deliberate, I start looking at the bassist. Riley Herrera runs a tight ship in terms of setup. Minimal gear, very little excess. This tells me he's intentional, disciplined, austere even. Some of my findings point to all three members being involved in the writing process, which is a compelling argument for why the bass seems to be the foundational force here. Herrera brings pursuit, DiPiero responds with distraction, like one of them moving through the woods with purpose, intent, and the other is tossing mirrors onto the path, which deeply unsettles me, because now I can't tell if I'm being hunted or enchanted or both. And this is where I start asking very reasonable questions, like, am I being followed? Am I under a spell? Am I dying? And honestly, I love it. Now, while Herrera is very much in his Pied Piper era, and DiPiero is off playing Rumpelstiltskin, where is Aric Improta? I'll tell you exactly where he is. He's the thread. Not the lure, not the spell, but the mechanism holding them together. He doesn't overplay in this track, which is wild because he absolutely could have. A drummer of his caliber choosing restraint is a massive decision. A good one that pushes the feeling of unease to the point of actual fear. And if the other two are chaos creatures, Improta is the voice in the back of their minds, quietly nudging, go on. And that is fucking terrifying. This broadcast was brought to you by a spell of some kind. Helpful. Horrifying. Ask the one.